Hi, this is Christopher Spera, and this is the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 147, Goin Strapless. Recorded live at, October 5th. It's October already?
Wow.
My God. 2025, live from iTechGear Central. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, the calendarly challenged. And unfortunately, the one person who would be here to go ahead and give me a truly, truly hard time about the last couple of flub ups is not here tonight. Not so the dulcet tones are absent. So there you go. So Mr. Chris Gavula won't be with us tonight, but we'll muddle through it some way, somehow. However, we do have the editor from iTechGear, the former contributing writer at Gear Diary, and currently the host of the Linux Link Tech Show, living in the Retro Arcade podcast, and the latest, greatest one called
Fitness for the Rest of Us.
Fitness for the Rest of Us. That's Brother Joe McLaughlin. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. A little bit of hiatus on the Retro Show, but hopefully I'll record my Mammoth March post.
For fitness?
Epic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Epic 3-time Mammoth March completer.
Finisher.
So,
Finisher.
Yes.
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 That's awesome. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
And last, of course, but never, ever, ever least, we've got the editor here at iTechGear and the co-owner of WUGNET Publications, Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. My left arm is not.
Well, that'll learn you to get a flu shot.
Yeah, we wanted to do our annual part to slow down the spread of COVID and the flu. So
Well,
we did our
for your
thing.
age, my age,
Yeah, I mean,
probably
it's-
a very good idea.
It's not a good thing to have either one of them. I've had them both, and they both
Well.
suck. But I tell you what, this flu shot, the COVID shot arm was fine, but the other one, the flu. Got to tell you, it was worse this year, I think, than ever before. But
Wow.
my bride reminds me that I said that last year too. So it
Well, there
probably
you
is
go.
whatever.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, this first story in our Apple segment kind of really struck me as funny for two reasons. All right. One, I thought this was definitely a women's sort of accessory. All right, number one. And two, I thought there's got to be nobody in the world that's going to pay that kind of money for that strip of leather. But apparently Apple's crossbody strap is selling out. So Larry, help me understand what is
Why?
going on.
Well, I'm not sure I know why. And I don't care if this thing is back ordered for a decade. It's only one notch above the Apple polishing cloth.
There you go.
But by the way, they're still selling a ton of the Apple cloths. And if you read about it, Apple will give you a list of about 8 reasons why you should use that instead of a plain old microfiber towel. I don't believe any one of those reasons, but you can read about them on the Apple website. So I actually was at the Apple store a few days ago, and I wanted to put my hands on a couple of things, and that strap was one of them. $60 for this little fine woven little strappy thing with 2 pieces of cloth string on the end that fit through the 2 holes that are on either corner of all the new Apple cases. There's no way in hell that I would ever put that on a phone and sling it over my shoulder. But that said, nearly every girl that I saw in the Apple store and in the mall all had them around their little necks and shoulders with their purses. So there's got to be something here. But I've yet to see the first guy wearing one here in Tennessee. I think when I do, if he's not bigger than me, I'm going to look at him and say, "Seriously, dude?" I'm going to make sure he's real tiny before I do that. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
There isn't a redneck in the world that is
No,
going to go
not a
ahead
one.
and grab a crossbody strap. I'm sorry. So,
Yeah.
nuh-uh.
Nope. No,
But
yeah, it's just crazy. I just would never do that. I mean,
I don't
it's,
know. Maybe one of you guys said it in the email, or Chris G, or somebody did, but maybe it's just because they didn't make enough of them. That's why it's back order. But I don't think so. I think it's a thing. I really do.
I mean, maybe it's just I'm not going to malls and stuff because I'm
Yeah.
not.
That's the only place I've seen it, Joel.
I've never seen it anywhere, and
Mm-mm.
you know,
Have not
it's
seen it in the wild either.
yeah. I went to this grocery multiple stores this weekend and doing my grocery shopping and going over to Sam's Club. Not one person had it. And I did finally see my first iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max. I'm not sure which one my buddy had, but he had the orange one. Saw the first one in the wild for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, says strap? Nope. I haven't seen it anywhere.
No, no.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'm
mean,
with you.
I'm guilty of the Apple polishing cloth. I will raise my hand and say I gave them 19 bucks for a 38-cent rag, but I've at least used it, and I'm not ashamed to use it.
I,
I
Yeah.
don't know.
no, no,
No.
No.
no, no. I don't understand. I don't understand how or why. I mean, this thing is 60 bucks. It's a strip of leather with a couple of studs in it. All right. Um,
Two little snap button things.
and
That's
two
it.
little snap
Hmm.
buttons that, when somebody rides by and grabs the phone because it's on that hip, all right,
Yep.
Wait a minute now. When you
and
go there, though,
yanks.
they're going to yank pretty hard. A casual yank won't get it. That thing
No,
is strong. That's
I
what I
don't I
read. I
don't doubt
read that.
that. I don't doubt that. All right. But yeah, I'm just saying that it just
If I were going to steal one, I'd have a big pair of scissors and just reach out and cut them both and take it that away. But, you know, it's still no,
I-
no.
I'm telling you, man, it just first of all, this strip of leather is 60 bucks.
It's not leather even.
Hmm.
It's not leather.
No.
Well, vegan leather.
It's the fine woven material, the new
It's
stuff.
fine woven material,
Yeah,
and it's 60
whatever that
bucks.
is.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's just I'm waiting for knockoffs to hit because that's gonna happen. You know
Oh
it
yeah,
will.
Oh,
absolutely.
sure.
I
Sure it
mean,
will. There'll be all kinds. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there were all kinds of third party kind of,
well, there
you
already
know,
was. That's why Apple even brought it out to begin with. I mean, there already was cases like that,
But
you know.
when you talk about that, there are how many thousands of different knockoffs for Apple Watch bands and some very good ones.
mm-hmm.
But Apple still sells a ton of the real thing. And there will be people that'll still go get the
I
real
have a
thing.
Because
very
they don't know
difficult
better.
time. I have a when I can go to Amazon or any other online store and I can find the exact same design band,
Mhm.
all right, for 50 bucks as opposed to 350 bucks. All right, seven times cheaper. And it's the same material and it is the same design.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have to pay seven times more when I can pay seven times less. And people aren't going to ask me, "Oh, is that the one that you paid $350 for?" No, they're not going to ask me that. They're just going to assume either that I did or that I didn't, and I don't care.
I can
And
say,
not
I
that
can
it's
say the
that
same thing. I mean, this is a what maybe a $10 or $20 strap I got from my Garmin. It works perfectly with
Mm-hmm.
the standard Garmin connections. There's nothing inactive about it. And if when I went to Garmin, I would have probably paid $50 to $60. I paid
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20,
at the
if
Mm-hmm.
most, yeah.
that. I mean, so I mean, it's like you know, there's a reason there's standards for things. Apple likes to make their own standard. I don't feel bad when other people knock it off, to be honest,
And
so
I very much appreciate, the genuine, you know,
hmm
whatever it is. Um, but to be very, very honest, um, and I've never been this loose with my money. All right.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I just
I don't see a use in it.
$700 and some odd dollars for a strip of for a double toured strip of leather for a watch band. All right, just because it's stamped with the logo Hermes. All right,
Yes.
I'm never gonna do. All right, I'm never gonna do something like that. I just it just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And
Nope.
maybe there's going to be a lot of people out there that will say, well, that's why, Christopher, that you don't have that kind of money. It's because it doesn't make sense to you.
Hmm.
Whatever.
Well,
Okie
you're
dokie,
right.
artichokey,
Whatever.
whatever. But I'm telling you, I I just can't see. I can't see it.
I mean,
See it.
this is not like the hardware. The hardware, I can almost make a case for most of it when you
Mm-hmm.
look at what goes into the
I agree.
manufacturing. And for those who don't believe that, if you've ever go up on YouTube, because there's some great videos on watching an iPad being built, put together in China.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll blow your mind. I
Oh, it's
mean,
an amazing
it's
thing.
just amazing. So I get why that technology costs a lot of money. The engineering, all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
all the quality insurance and stuff that goes in it
Mm-hmm.
in your world, Chris. And then, and somebody's got to pay those folks in Cupertino their mega salaries. So I get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
No,
it blew my
but a
mind the
strap
first
or a
time I
band, I don't get it. No.
no, no, no. It blew my mind though the first time I ever saw um a a a, a PCB being manufactured, right? But he puts all those loose components in the little, according to the diagrams, they put all the
Yeah.
transistors and chips and components in, and then it moves down this conveyor belt into the mass solder, and it just sort of just slides in that solder bath, and that solder just soaks up those long um, um, transistors, wires, and then then the board flips, and they all get cut off or ground down, or however they do it, and then and then it flips again, and then off it goes into some other portion of the process on the manufacturing process. And I stood there. I was 20 something, right? Late 20 something, and I'm stood there with my mouth agape, and I had the QC manager walk by, and he said, "Boy, close that thing up. Something's gonna fly out of there. It's gonna shut the whole line down. Close that thing up." So
Oh.
it was just an amazing thing. But I don't I completely understand what you're talking about in terms of the hardware,
I
but
think this could still be a fad, and you may not see this 5 years from now still
I don't
being
know that you're
sold.
gonna see it next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, I
Apple
don't know that you're
usually
gonna see
gives
it.
things longer than 1 year, though. They even gave the iPhone mini longer than a year.
Well, they gave the iPhone. Well, the iPhone Mini was. I bought an iPhone. I
I
thought I
did
bought a
too. I bought
13
one. I
Mini.
had one.
I bought the last
I'd
Mini,
buy one if they had it tomorrow. I would.
right? I mean, it's a nice phone. It's easy to use. It's easy to hold. It does basically everything else that you would need an
It was a
iPhone to
dress
do.
phone. You could put it in your suit pocket and take it
Yes,
with you.
snag it right in that shirt pocket, and it
Yep.
won't fall out.
No.
You know, Absolutely fabulous. But anyway, and speaking of Apple stuff that's fabulous. Do you guys know? I mean, have you look at Apple's leadership at this point. And did you know that most of them are entering retirement age?
They are
You
the
know, and
top ones.
it's frightening. Most of the senior leadership team is in their early 60s, right? Tim Cook, I believe, is the oldest at 64, right? But General Counsel Catherine Adams is 61. Eddie Q is 60. Craig Federighi is 56. He's one of the younger ones. Um, um, John J. Andrea is 60. Jaws is 61. Sabi Khan is 59. Um, uh, Deidre O'Brien, who is the SVP of Retail and People, is 59. Kevin Parek, who is the baby of the group, is 53. Uh, Johnny Sarugi is 61. John Turnus is 50. He's
Now
actually
that guy right there is who's
he's the
probably,
baby of
I
the
think,
group.
going to
He's
take
SVP
Cook's
of
job.
hardware engineering, right? And then Jeff Williams, of course, the SVP of Design, Watch, and Health, is 62. And you're going to think that those folks are starting to get to the age where they want to be able to go and spend more time with their money and, of course, their family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course. But
so
if you look at what Apple's philosophy is with that leadership package up there, that group of maybe 20 people, I
mhm,
think you'll find that they have, well, of course, they have Apple University, and all their top leaders have to go through that. But they groom each one of these potential successors
yep.
within the company. I mean, even Steve Jobs himself groomed Tim Cook for this role.
Oh,
He
Right.
did, he
absolutely did.
personally drugged that man around with him every day, every
Hmm.
night. And through Steve's leadership skills and his personal experience, he was a
Yeah,
direct mentor. And I think they still do that from what
yeah,
I've read at the top levels. There's
yeah.
somebody walking around behind each one of these that we don't know about.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I
They're
would
in a
not be
grooming
surprised
mode.
if each of these folks
Right.
were grooming mentors for each of the other folks on this team. All right,
Yeah.
they're all helping each other out in terms of grooming and management style and advice, et cetera, et cetera. I would not be surprised if that were going on, although I don't know for certain. Right, but when you look at um who may have been at the top of technology teams that are out there, right? I mean, you've got the founders era with
Right.
Jobs and Gates, right? And um, the folks out there that were for Google, and I forget who they are because they've changed over a couple of times already. But the long and the short of it is, I mean, and even with Amazon, what's the guy's the
Bezos.
Bezos? Thank you. Was
Mm-hmm.
close. Wasn't too far away from there. But the point that I'm making is, I mean, Jobs, of course, has unfortunately passed away. Gates stepped
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
Bezos stepped back. Um, there really isn't too many folks out there from the founders era that in the technology sector that are still there, right? At least in
Mm-hmm.
the big companies, right?
Well,
Um,
the thing that scares me is right now, Tim Cook is he may be the CEO, but he directly is responsible for the
mhm.
operational precision that this company employs in their day-to-day business. I mean, he is the operational guru.
Well, and he has been for years. He was the
Yes, he
original
has.
COO.
Yeah.
But did you know that the operational teams in Apple report directly to him? They bypass that one other level that all the other teams go through. Only the operational teams report directly to Cook.
Yeah,
The rest of them have to go through a VP.
yeah.
So he's still, but what happens? I mean, if if his runway runs out or he gets
Yeah,
run over by a truck, I mean,
yeah,
what happens to that company? I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure the stockholders want to know too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm certain that there are
Yeah, there's a plan. There's
succession
a
plans
plan.
in place for all of these people, right? But I mean, they're getting to the point where they got to start, blowing the dust off of all of them. All right, because if I mean, if I were Tim Cook at the age of 64 with the amount of money that Tim Cook has, my
I,
God,
I couldn't imagine why yesterday wasn't my last day.
yeah. I mean, I would be wondering why I'm not, you know, contemplating which small island am I going to buy?
Bye. To
Yeah.
have my
Right. Right.
just to have
Right.
a vacation on it.
Which one am I going to buy today? You know?
Right.
Or like Garmin, who might consider buying somebody to avoid a lawsuit.
I mean,
Well,
well,
that's true too.
there,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, it's what's interesting though, and before we get to the mobile Linux segment here, where
Yeah.
we're going to start off with that, I want to, I just find it amazing. where who because we don't know who yet, do we? Is going to take
Mm,
over for Tim.
I gotta think it's the hardware dude, the one with just the 50-year-old.
Craig
Sternus?
Federighi.
No, Sternus or whatever his name is. Sternus. The
Uh,
one you just mentioned, the senior VP of hardware,
Senior VP
years
for
old.
the Johnny Cerrugi,
Nope,
Jeff Williams,
nope,
um, uh, Joswiak.
nope. I'll get it for you here. Hang on.
Sabi Khan is the COO. Kevin Parek is the CFO. John Turnus is the hardware engineer.
John Turnus, that's him.
John Turnus.
I believe you'll
You
see
think?
that man in charge.
You think?
Yep.
mm.
So does a lot of other people like Bloomberg and a whole bunch of others.
Well, we'll see.
I only know that because I read it.
Now,
And he even looks the part. I mean, if you look at this guy,
does
he's
he?
just the perfect fitting image of who you think should be running $1 trillion company.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. It could go outside too. Who knows? I mean,
Doubtful.
That's not
I
their
do.
style though.
Yeah,
Doubtful. The
true.
last time they did that, that guy ran the company into the ground because all he knew how to make was sugar water, according to
Oh,
Jobs. All right. So
Uh,
that was a long time ago, though. So I
yeah,
mean,
but
they
yeah,
might
but that
decide, well, let's
really
try it again.
no. Again, no.
Yeah.
But
Anywho,
all right, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's going to be just a little bit before. It's going to be a minute, a hot minute before Timmy decides to
oh yeah.
retire. So, but that's
yep.
just me. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and move to the mobile Linux segment, bulk of our stuff. It's interesting though. This week, the bulk of our stories are in the mobile Linux segment. When has that happened? When was the last time that happened?
Always right after an Apple event.
Usually.
Everybody's all pacified now with their new toys.
Yep.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it. All the
Yep.
news is over with.
Yeah,
The rumor
so
mill is shut down for a while.
yep. And like Joel said earlier, Strava is suing Garmin and demands sales of all devices. Stop.
Yeah. So
Figure
it
that odds.
it was first broken by DC Rainmaker. DC Rainmaker is huge in both the hiking and biking segment, and is a huge fan of Garmin. Not to mention the fact that Garmin devices are probably one of the most popular devices that connects to Strava.
Mm-hmm.
It's all circulating around two different features that Strava says they came out with, called heat map and in segments. All right. Well, Garmin rolled them out way back in early 2014 on
Mm-hmm.
select Garmin Connect select devices. The Edge 1000 was the first before Garmin
Yep.
and Strava rolled out Strava Live segments in
Okay.
2015.
Okay.
So the thing is Strava now is popular. As Strava is. It's basically like a social network almost for tracking your workout. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but as popular as it is, let's face it, Strava is not a big company compared to Garmin.
Mm-mm.
No,
No,
no.
I
No,
mean
not
at
not not
all.
not by far. And reading this article that we've linked here,
That's from
it's
Cycling World.
from
Yep.
Cycling Weekly, all
Yes.
right, .com. Um, it's interesting. The writer here says that it's all about the IP of the things that you had mentioned until
Right.
you get to until you get to the real agenda, which is Garmin's developer guidelines over the APIs.
Right.
And that's where I thought things went really, really were really interesting.
Right. So I mean, the thing is anybody who's serious, like serious about tracking their fitness, like me,
Mm-hmm.
others, and other folks who don't want to use Apple or Google Wear
Mm-hmm.
OS. And let's face it, there's nothing that has a better battery life than any Garmin smartwatch. So I mean, even their OLED versions have better battery life than any Apple or Wear
Right now,
OS based
that's
device.
very true right now.
Yep.
Right now, that's very, very true.
Very true.
Even though I'm getting a full day or plus out of my new Apple Watch, I
Right. When I'm
still,
looking at, see, I'm at 65%, and I got it says I have 14 days worth of battery life left.
Yeah.
yeah,
See, see
So I
now,
mean,
I will tell
yeah,
you that
not even close.
right.
I've got two watches in my smartwatch corral that will go for one will go for at least 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but it is a no name, no brand
Right.
smartwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from China. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Um, I actually believe it is it's from a company called ROHS.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the O is small, so Anyway, so there's that, and then I've believe it or not, I've got a Huawei watch.
Right.
All right, and that will go for about um 7 to 10 days, depending on use.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they're fabulous.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Garmin, I mean, nothing beats Garmin. Strava is just I mean, Strava doesn't even make their own devices. It's just an app that other apps plug into.
Mm-hmm.
Or other devices, like Wear OS or even Apple stuff would probably plug into Strava. And, so I don't get where Strava's coming from with this, but I know that Garmin can probably make it quietly go away pretty quickly. I
Right.
mean, that's the thing.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
and in fact, if I was I actually was Garmin. As popular as Strava is for a lot especially it's probably more popular in cycling than it is
Yeah.
with hiking.
Yeah.
But as popular as it is in those worlds, in the fact that Garmin, I mean, they got a lot of stuff that's similar to it
Mm-hmm.
in the Garmin Connect app, but not quite the same. Like I can track like I have different badges and stuff that I can earn as I do activities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a feed in there. Like I can go in and see I'm friends with my boot camp coach, the male one, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a marathon runner, and I can see when he does his
Mm-hmm.
training runs, and anything he tracks in his Garmin device, I can see it.
Right.
This might just be a
So
case of Strava is small enough that they're at a cash strap moment and they
yes,
see a little bit of a thing they can glom onto here to sue the big boy, and they
Well,
might make a
hmm,
buck or they might get hurt. You never know.
so
yep,
according to the article, all right, on July 1st, Garmin announced new developer guidelines for all of its API partners,
yep,
including Strava, right, that require the Garmin logo to be present on every single activity post, screen graph, image, sharing card, etc. And
They're whining about that a bit. Of
Strava doesn't want to advertise for Garmin,
course
right?
right,
not.
Right.
makes sense. Yeah,
All right. They have until November 1st to comply, and if not, Garmin is threatened to cut off access to the API, stopping all Garmin activities from being uploaded to Strava. And, Strava is trying to stop the blatant advertising that this would, give to Garmin.
yep,
And he says they can't justify it to our users complying with the new guidelines. As such, we have tried to resolve the situation with Garmin over the course of the past 5 months, including proposing additional attribution across the platform in a less intrusive way, but to no avail. So
right,
obviously, Strava is saying, I'm not going to advertise for you in my app. And to be honest, I do think that this is a little bit unreasonable.
I do too.
But if you
On the
If
other
you're
hand,
trying to make money, it's stupid too. I
yeah.
mean,
yeah, on the other side of that coin, though, I mean, I see Strava's point, but I also see Garmin's point because
Mm-hmm.
Garmin is providing the data to Strava, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's their API, not Strava's.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they, and Strava doesn't make a device, so there's an easy
Nope.
way around this. If Strava doesn't want to advertise Google or Garmin, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or Google or anybody else, is to bring out their own damn device, which
Mm-hmm.
they're good luck with that.
What they would have to to be honest, I don't believe that for as much as Strava does,
Yep.
and for as big as they aren't as big as Garmin
Truth.
or anybody else really.
Hmm.
Um, I think that they would have a very difficult time coming up with something that is not specifically um just an OEM of another
Well, first
gadget
of
that's
all,
already
there's
out
no
there.
way in hell they're going to ever get out of this on the winning end
No,
because
no.
everybody I was ever involved in that I had to do an agreement with on an API, it is
Hmm.
cut and dry. You will follow our API,
Yep.
and it shows right the minute you step off the curb,
Right.
done deal. We're
Yep.
done.
Right, right.
So
And if this counts toward, and actually this is probably why they're doing this. Strava is preparing for an IPO.
uh,
So as early as 2026. So that might be why they're trying this,
yeah,
which
Maybe,
I don't
maybe,
know. You
but then
know,
again, Garmin, like you said earlier, Garmin should just buy Strava out,
yep.
and
Be done with it.
just be done with it.
I mean, they can use the technology or they can throw it away, and most people that I know of are very critical of Strava for doing this because they all use like a lot of the folks that use Strava use Garmin devices
Mm-hmm.
and they want their device to work with Strava
Mm-hmm.
and they're willing to go without Strava
before
because of
Garmin,
before the Garmin device.
right?
So it's
Yeah.
like, so I mean, and I don't blame them because the Garmin devices, everyone I've tried, I've liked, since the very first GPS I ever owned from Garmin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they make fantastic hardware, always have, always will,
Mm-hmm.
and that in if you ask me, what I want more, Strava or Garmin, Garmin,
Yeah.
no
Oh, I
question.
used to have a Garmin golf tracker thing. It
Yep,
worked
Yeah. No, they're
better
they're
than any of
fabulous.
them. It's just
yep.
perfect.
Absolutely. And that's
So,
because of their GPS technology.
yep,
So there you go.
Yeah,
yep.
You know?
Well, and what would be really interesting is see what happens, see how long this goes on, or see if it even gets to the point where or even if Strava has any teeth in their lawsuit, which I don't think they do. But
probably not.
Well, we'll see what happens.
yep,
It may get dismissed without merit. One judge may just look at it and go, "Nope."
right, yeah, I know.
No,
So
and that could be the end of that. But speaking of value,
yeah,
this one really really hit me hard. And Larry, I
This
know that
breaks
this
my heart, really.
yeah
It's something that valuable is worth nothing,
nothing
literally.
now. One
right.
hundredth of it is so once valued at over $100 billion. All right. America Online, AOL, is being sold by Yahoo for just $1 billion.
That's
And you
fire
can look at that and
sale.
say, well, wait a minute, $1 billion is a lot of
That's a
money,
lot of money. I mean,
but it's not as much as 100 billion.
No,
no, no, it's 1% of what it used to be back in its heyday. And yet, how can you just? It would just absolutely kill me, to be. I mean, it's $1 billion company is nothing to sneeze at. It's still a valuable company, right?
mm-hmm.
But to be 1% of what it used to be,
Right.
Well,
that's
one of the big reasons here, guys, I think, is because AOL has never changed its business model,
no.
and it's still tried to operate with that stupid AOL browser email package in a box that still people here today I deal with that they still have it on their desktop, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hideous, it's horrid,
Oh,
but
it's
it was a
very
really
1990s.
good deal, back in the day when we were AOL business partners.
Oh,
Great
absolutely.
deal. But
Absolutely. And I loved working with the folks again. And we said this just a week or two ago. Working with the folks over at AOL CompuServe, they were absolutely wonderful to
oh
work
my
with. They
God,
were
I
great
mean, no
folks.
doubt. I've personally met Steve Case when he was the big dude there, and what a
Mm-hmm.
down to earth person. And
Well, and they're not even. I would say they're not even an ISP anymore for the most part.
yeah,
It's
they've pretty
what are
much
you
pulled every
buying? Yeah,
plug.
the dial-up service is gone. Almost nobody I know that had AOL has it anymore. My dad had Prodigy for a long time. He doesn't even have that either. He just goes through Southwest Bell, I think. Or no, he has The cable provider.
One
Not
of the
Spectrum, the
most
other one, but
one of
you
the
know,
most brilliant things that AOL ever did was to create, remember the little yellow running man icon
yep.
bounce along, and that made them billions back when. That and
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
stupid
Yeah.
"You've got mail."
Oh my goodness.
AIM and
There are
every,
still people that I'm next to with a phone and I hear that thing. People get that old ringtone out. They
and
Yep.
love it.
Oh,
at
they
one
absolutely love that
time,
notification sound. You've got mail, you
yeah,
know?
That's
that,
right.
And
yeah,
it spawned what? It really kicked up the careers of both Tom
Oh,
Hanks
of
and
course.
Meg Ryan. Oh my goodness. People are still watching that movie and crying over it.
Yes, they
right,
You know?
are.
Don't cry, shop girl. Don't, yeah, okay. Hand me my tissues,
right.
please.
But all good things must come to an end. And
It's
and this is just an end of another era, and
well, yeah,
everybody's
but
going to have to get over it. It's just
the sad thing here is that Reuters is reporting that, Yahoo is preparing to sell the online service, all right, to an Italian firm for $1.4 billion. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm Italian and I have nothing against Italian businesses, but they're not even naming the firm here. Number
they
one.
they did name them at
Right.
some point, but still, this might work, Chris, if you put that technology package outside the US where the technology bar is already lower. It
Sure.
might be still a big enough deal to survive 10 more years.
Well, yeah, but not as American Online
Oh,
in
no, no,
Europe.
they'll change it.
Well, not
They're
as
just buying
AOL.
the technology. That's
Yeah,
all.
you know. Um, oh, and I guess
Maybe the
the
Italy
name of the
online. I don't
company
know.
is called Bending Spoons.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's in advanced stages. It's important to note that the transaction has not been finalized and could still fall through. All right.
sure.
Although Apollo Global Management, which currently owns AOL and bought them back in 2021, would be able to get at least some of its cash back from the deal. So we'll
At this point, they're just trying to get what they can and get out.
and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Somewhere, yeah. Interestingly enough, though, I mean, Bending Spoons was valued in last year in 24 at 2.55 billion. All right, which is unusually
Pretty
high for
good.
an Italian-based tech entity, but still, I mean that's over. They're betting half the farm on this acquisition. You know, so wow.
There are a lot of very good software companies in Italy.
Oh
I
sure.
think the problem with some of them is they're in Italy. They're not over here in this brick and mortar environment,
Or
and it's
even
very
or even
difficult.
Israel. I mean, Israel's a bit of a software mecca
Well, I
too.
say that because when I first retired, I did about 2 or 3 years as a UI developer for a company that was an Italian company.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, you've probably seen the product. It's called Airmail. It's still in
Mm-hmm.
there, still in the App Store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they still make a halfway decent product.
Yep.
But they're a good little company, but they just never had the wherewithal to get bigger. And so they just stayed little. And
So
I'm sure there's a lot of companies like that over there.
yeah, yeah. It's sad to see, but the fact that they never got off of that whole that rectangular news crawler sort of dashboard kind
Yeah,
of interface and that
yeah.
same kind of browser based, like you said, that browser based one shop does it all kind of thing. It's sad to see, but when you don't move, you when you stay stagnant, you go to ground,
Yep. Your
Mm-hmm.
body goes into atrophy, and there's a business atrophy as well.
you know? Ah well.
Oh well, so be it.
Yep. Although, companies like Meta that are out there right now are
No
really
atrophy there.
no, there's no atrophy
No.
there. And honestly, I think they're trying to overreach again. There's news out there now that they're going to use your AI chats to sell you or to position you with hyper targeted ads, which really just kind of annoys me. The last freaking thing I need is from Meta is more ads. I can't, I
Meta,
can't watch a 3 minute reel on Facebook without two ads
Mm-hmm.
right in the middle of the damn thing.
And Meta's just that one company that we all love to hate.
Absolutely. Amen.
It's just, you know, I broke the Twitter habit, have
Mm-hmm.
no problem, no regret. I cannot break the Facebook habit. I just can't, and I probably never will. But back to the story, Meta did just announce a pretty big change in its privacy policy that's coming in a couple of months. They have stated they will start using data from every chat you have, almost every chat, with AI products to sell you ads that are super hyper targeted to you. And there's no way to opt out, not one. Now, with that said, on one hand, I mean, if I happen to be up looking for coffee cups, the
Mm-hmm.
next day on Facebook, I'm going to see 45 ads for coffee cups.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see those ads than baseballs or something I don't care about. So on one hand, I don't really mind that, but on the other hand, I still feel like it's a little bit of an invasion on my privacy that you're doing it. But I'm not that mad at you for doing it. So when people have the one time that it won't happen, there's an
Mm-hmm.
exception. Whenever people have conversations with Meta AI about topics such as religion, anything sexual, anything political,
Mm-hmm.
anything about health or
Mm-hmm.
race or ethnic origin or philosophical beliefs
Mm-hmm.
or trade union memberships, even, they
Mm-hmm.
will not use those. It has to be pure, just BS stuff. It can't be about my broken arm or my church or something like that. It
Mm-hmm.
cuts off. It will not, they say it won't use it. So will that be true? I don't know. Will they stick with that promise? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Meta.
It is. I just don't like how they're constantly invading absolutely everything that I do,
Mm-hmm.
scraping everything that I do, harvesting everything that I do on their platform to target me with ads. And I'm over inundated with ads. I have a feeling that it's going to. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole freaking platform flip flops and it goes the other way, where all the ads are free, all ads all the time, and content creators now have to pay to get on board.
Might
otherwise,
well
you just
be.
otherwise you
But
just all you get
you
is
know
commercials.
something Meta's very, very good at, though? They have one of the most complex settings panel that you've ever opened up and tried
Oh,
to
it
find
is an
something in.
absolute
And
disaster.
therein lies the problem. They know the average human trying to find that one switch to turn off that one notification. It's there somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
trying to find it, they'll give up, and that's it.
Yep.
I've
Very, very
been
true.
lost in that thing more than once.
Yep. Back in the day, um, when the accusations of fake news were being thrown around by a whole bunch of folks, there was a way to get rid of fact checkers, right?
Mhm.
And that was all plastered all over Facebook. And now you try to find that now, and that's buried so deep. I mean, it was easier back then. Now, boy, it's buried way, way deep. Trying to find that crap again is next to impossible. So anyway, and
Well, I wish
speaking,
him all the luck, but I'm not going to support him
Mm-hmm.
no,
unless I have
no,
to. But
no, and speaking of AI, Google's Gemini is now coming to Google Home.
Supposedly, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it really is kind of part of their announcement on new Nest devices. They have a new Nest Cam Outdoor, which runs at 2K, and Nest Cam Indoor, which runs also
Mm-hmm.
2K, and a new Google Home speaker. And so
and a
all
new
these,
doorbell that's 2K too.
yeah, and again the new doorbell as well. So I mean, so all these new devices, and they're going to require you to have the Gemini Pro. Which I have. I had it first initially as part of my 9 Pro XL package, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just added on to the storage I already pay for backing up my device. I mean, it's not that much
I
money.
got it just so I could kind of compare it to
Yep,
ChatGPT Pro. And
yep,
but
and
interestingly, from an even from an Apple fanboy point of view,
yep.
there is nothing, I don't think yet, better in the home smart home space than Google Home.
Yep. Yeah, the speakers are
I
good. I mean, I have several of the earlier speakers. I have the hub downstairs. I'm kind of
yeah,
be interested in if they would have brought out a different hub. I'd love to go get a Pixel tablet to use as my hub upstairs, plus
right.
having a decent semi decent Android tablet. It could perform a little bit better. But
If they play their cards right with this new Google Home that's just
yeah,
coming out, I think they'll win back a lot of Apple smart home users like myself.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would go back to them in a heartbeat because I had the predecessor to all other the two cameras that you mentioned and the
right.
doorbell. Nothing in the world beat them. It didn't come close. And
Yep,
this is going from 1080 to 2K, so it's going to be twice as good.
yep,
And
yep. Well, and
if they
it's one
make
of
it
those
work
things.
they got to make it
Mhm.
work with Apple.
Yep.
So if
See,
they
and
can do that with
that's
Matter
therein
will
lies the key, though, right?
now
Right.
Matter will take care of that.
Yep.
Matter will do it all for them. They don't
They've also added
their
some
new doorbell,
interesting things too to the home app. Like for example, if the home speaker hears glass breaking, it will send you a notification on your phone.
right?
Which I didn't break a glass, but I'm unloading the dishwasher and I got a notification last night, in the middle of, it was late, and I got a notification that it thought glass was breaking. All I was
Well,
doing was
that'll teach you
unloading
to
the
go ahead and
dishwasher.
do the dishes late at night.
Right. But, it didn't alert anybody but me. It didn't create
Right.
an alarm or anything, but it does work with all the alarm systems. Plus, I think ADT, who I use for my security system, they do work well with Google Home devices and stuff like that.
The way I read these new devices, the minute you scan them with your camera, with your QR scanner, it will pair with whether it's Google Home or Apple
Mhm.
Home. It will
Right.
pair right then. Boom.
Yep.
So if it does that, they got something.
Yeah, I will say that their cameras are generally priced way better. Like I contacted ADT to find out what it would cost to add camera to my Culosis panel downstairs,
More than
and
150, wasn't it?
it was $400.
There you go.
So and the Nest Cam Outdoor, which is the one I would be the most interested in, is 150.
179, 150,
150.
yeah.
You can get two of them for 250. So definitely worth
And
worth.
Apple is still on year 3 of saying, we're going to come out with a camera and a doorbell. Promise us. It's coming.
Mhm.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's
Well, I
not
think
even
there's also
breathing hard. Come
no.
on.
I think some people like I know a lot of people like our Mr. Gavula do not want any of these cameras or the speakers. Uh, it's understandably so. I mean, because it is a little weird sometimes. Like I'm sitting here, I'm on a call, and occasionally Alexa or Google, depending on if it
Even
decides.
Siri does it.
Yeah,
I know where
they'll
you're
just
going.
all of a sudden respond out of the blue, and I'm like, "Shut up."
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
I will say this. I've got two HomePod minis here
right.
downstairs. All right, in the office. Um, I bounce in between them and the larger speaker set that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I want to be able to go ahead every now and
Right.
again and prove to myself that yes, I did successfully create a stereo pair, and yes, it will work.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's with the way that those things work, creating that stereo pair um, with those two speakers, you should be able to do it. B, it should work. There should be no reason why it shouldn't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
especially since they're both wireless. Um, the, every now and again, I just like to, and then every now and again, when I try it, it breaks and it doesn't work right. So there you
But
go.
you know what? I mean, I go back to the beginning of the smart home crap when there was nothing but the first little plug-in plugs that you put in the wall and you could wire them up to do your Christmas tree or something. But
Hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually thinking of getting out of the smart home business with the exception of the one thing I can't live without, my thermostat.
Right.
That
You know,
But now you see, I've got an Ecobee, and the Ecobee was smart. They have their own technology which will work hands off. Talk to it. You don't have to have Google, don't have to have Alexa, don't have to have anything. It
Right.
just works.
Now
Yep.
the cameras
And
do require subscription. It's like $10 or $20 a month.
yeah, it's like
30 or 60
I
days
think you
worth
can
of
get six
activities.
79 for a year if you do a yearly, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Very
it's
true.
yeah, and
If you're
it's
going to do it, you got to get that because
yeah,
otherwise, just doing the events, that doesn't get it. No.
right. And I have a doorbell camera that came with my house. It's not anyone you've ever heard of before. And I end up having it does have like motion alerts, but because we have a flag attached to my house and the wind blows the flag and it sees the flag, I had to turn them damn things off. Um, because there was nothing in there like unlike Ring, or Blink or probably this Google Cam as well. I can't say, hey, ignore that, but tell me about when somebody walks up to my door. That's what I want to
Yeah.
know. And so and Google's got much more technology behind it. So I mean, than the one I have now. So I definitely I will only ever do cloud attached cameras outdoor. I will not at all interested in the indoor cameras.
Oh
Most of
no, I
the
will not have one indoors. No.
no, I don't want one of those indoors.
No, no, no.
I don't
But
have enough stuff in the house that's worth enough money for me to have
yeah.
indoor
And
cameras.
now what's important,
Yeah, there's just too much, even if I had a
right?
rental property, I wouldn't want, who would rent a property that had a camera in it?
Right, not me.
Not me.
I
Uh,
wouldn't know. No,
No.
no,
because I'd be afraid that, there's some weird
Spying on me
old
or
right.
guy,
something. No, no.
Now the cameras are available now, but
Are they?
the new speaker is not available till spring.
Hmm.
So that's something to be aware of. They still have the existing mini and the home hub and stuff like that. In fact, if you're careful, you can probably get a good deal on the home hub and stuff. Uh,
You know what?
yeah, Black Friday soon.
I I've got one. I've got the home hub and I've got
Right.
4 or 5 minis in a box, brand new, and I still think they were a great small speaker for
They
the.
still are. I've got one in my office. I've got multiple versions of them. I got the original and then I got the newer version.
If you don't
And
listen to them wide open, they sound
you
really
know,
good.
I will
Mhm.
say the one thing I miss, thank you Sonos for being pricks, is telling it to play the same. Well, one thing I used to be able to do is tell it, "Hey, play this song or play this sound playlist on all of my speakers in the house,"
Yeah,
and that doesn't happen anymore
nope.
because this is Sonus out lawsuit. So, but the rest of it, other than that, I do use them from time to time, especially when in the kitchen. I'll play music if nobody's home. Otherwise, I just use my earbuds, my Pixel Bud.
Well, Sonos might have won that lawsuit, but I'm not
Right.
so sure about this next story in the lawsuit involving
Right.
it.
Yeah, this next one really kind of surprised me. Qualcomm declares quote unquote complete litigation victory over ARM.
Well, I don't think so because ARM is without ARM, they are nothing.
Well, Larry,
Yeah.
this is one of
This
Paul's
comes from Paul
articles.
Thurrott.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
so we
good
know
friend
this
Paul
is good
Thurrott.
good info.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, the company did declare complete litigation victory. Now, with that court decision today, Qualcomm and its subsidiaries all have to, they pretty much got to say, okay, but I just, I don't know. We can only hope that ARM will return to fair and competitive practices in dealing with the ARM
Hmm.
ecosystem. That's, despite this full and final judgment thing, ARM Holdings still says they're going to appeal. They're
Right.
going to do it. Now, if you remember, ARM Holdings sued Qualcomm back about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They said that Qualcomm's use of their Nuvia chip designs which led to the stunning Snapdragon chipsets we know today, violated its licensing terms. But this was just like most lawsuits, another money grab, and it failed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the thing about these lawsuits, I think today, they're so complicated that you have to have like 50 lawyers working on each side day and night, and all of them making, $700 an hour
Yep.
trying to, and that's all it is. Those are the people who are going to win. The
I was
lawyers
just going to say, the only people that win in
are the
situations like
lawyers.
this are the lawyers
That's
because
right. They go home and say, I don't care who won or lost. I got my
they're
million.
laughing themselves all the way to the bank,
Yeah, they are.
and they truly
So,
are.
Yep. Well, you got to remember, like, in fact, I shared with the group earlier this week, probably this weekend, about the Snazzy Lab videos. If you haven't watched that, the day Intel said no to Steve Jobs and lost everything,
right. Yep.
he covers how in the world ARM came to be in the first place, which was a whole partnership between Acorn in the UK, Apple, and Digital at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that the strong arm chips that Digital made were what eventually became the X scale chips, and Intel actually had them for a time the most powerful ARM chips around.
Yeah.
And then he goes in further and he talks about the when Asus used Atom chips to run phones,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
which ran Android, of course.
Yep.
And that was, and not to mention the Dell Venue 8 tablet,
Mm-hmm.
which also ran that as well too. So I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Qualcomm is saying what they are, which is we
mhm.
look forward to an expected trial in March of 2026, bring it on.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That pretty much says they're not going to lose to me.
yeah,
They don't expect, yeah, the Qualcomm separate lawsuit against ARM for breach of contract,
Yep.
improper interference with customer relationships, etc. Um, Qualcomm does not expect to lose that. You're right. You're
right.
right. And they
They don't expect to.
and they probably won't, given given that ARM probably tried to push back and actually probably, and I'm not saying that they did for certain,
Mhm.
but
And
they
I
probably
don't
did
care how
interfere.
I don't care how much of our money our government is pumping into Intel. I
Yep.
still think that we will live to see the day, even me, where there are two major chip makers, Apple and Qualcomm.
Yep.
And they're all based off the same
ARM.
basic ARM
Architecture.
designs.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably right.
Yep.
Um,
There's still, I believe, there's still partners too with ARM Holdings, along with a whole bunch of other folks right
mhm.
now.
Yep.
So ARM is a lot more powerful than Qualcomm thinks, I think, still.
That's true,
So, and the
but
I
way I look
Qualcomm
at
has
it is
proved
without ARM, they don't exist.
Qualcomm has proven to have the best lawyers so far. That's the thing,
yeah,
I think.
That's true
and that's
too.
Whether
really
they'll
the
have
only
them in the
thing.
future, I don't know, but
That's really the only thing that they've proven so far.
Right.
that's true. I agree
Right.
with
It's
that.
that their lawyers are. My lawyer can beat up your lawyer. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my dad can beat up your
Yep.
dad too. Okay. Uh,
Yep.
But
Well,
I
we'll see
mean,
how it turns out, but
yeah. Well, we will.
yeah,
But
all was started with the whole partnership with Apple was started for the Newton originally. So I mean, that's the thing that we got to remember
mhm.
about that. So I mean,
that
which is
little piece
amazing.
of garbage that Job constantly refers to.
I don't care. Quit talking about the device I still wish I had.
Hey, I
It's.
do too.
I wanted
I
one
wish
back in
I
the
had
'90s
that.
as well. I
It was
honestly
so
wanted one back in the
cute. It
'90s as
really
well.
was so endearing. It's just,
I liked the idea of being able to, and this is one of the reasons why
and I
I
like
jumped
my
into
Palm
Pocket
Pilot, don't
PC
get me
like I
wrong.
did, but
Right.
I wanted to be able to carry around all my address book, my to dos, my email, my calendar with me everywhere that I went, and that was really the forefather to the modern day smartphone, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Um, and it has greatly shaped the entire technology and computing industries
Hmm.
over the last couple of decades.
And it's why Intel's where it's at today. To be honest, I mean, as Intel is way behind.
Yeah.
and they're hurting right now. They never, in my mind, 10 years ago, would I think Intel will be where they are today.
Never.
Never.
But
I don't
probably
think
in,
anybody did. I don't think
30
anybody.
No.
years, 30 years from now, people will be holding a smartphone that's the same thickness and size as a playing card.
Right.
Right.
And they'll say, wow, if it wouldn't have been for the iPhone, we wouldn't have this.
Right.
And it probably won't
Mm-hmm.
even be made by Apple.
Right. And it
Mm-hmm.
all back to a weird little company called Compaq,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
who threw together a product called the iPack, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which
So,
I had one.
oh,
I
I
did
had
too. I
most
had
of them.
several.
I had most
Uh,
of them. So there
Yeah.
you
I
go.
still have somewhere around here. Yeah, here. Look here.
So
I got one of the last ones they ever made right here.
there you
Yeah,
go.
you do.
Yep. And
Yeah. That's it.
I finally grabbed one used, and I'm actually quite impressed with the device. And I wish I had it back when it was new, when it was actually
Mhm.
useful. But now it's not. It's basically a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
None
mean,
of
it's
those things work. The
None of
old
those. No,
technology, none of them.
You can't get ActiveSync to run. So
or
therefore, it's
browsers.
never going to be able to do anything.
Nope.
So
Or connect to modern Wi-Fi either. So
nope,
I
No.
mean,
nope. Anyway,
yeah.
so
Hey,
you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to
Next
move us
segment.
to our Windows segment, but I'm going to do that right after this brief message. 100 episodes. The iTechGear Weekly has more than 100 episodes. We've been doing this, oh my goodness, for almost 4 years. And to be very honest, the iTechGear Weekly needs your help. We need your subscriptions. We need your donations. Anything at any time would be very much appreciated. We need your help. I will tell you that I am about $3,000 a year in on site maintenance as well as show maintenance. And while we're not really going to stop, we really do need your help. Any kind of donation that you can go ahead and provide to us, either through a Patreon subscription or directly to the site via my personal PayPal, Chris at iTechGear.org, would be greatly appreciated. You can subscribe to a monthly newsletter for just a small amount every month at www.patreon.com/iTechGear. If you do that, you get a summary of all of the shows. You get a summary of all of the articles that we post with direct links to everything that happens on the site. Boy, we've had a great time over the last 3 years and change, providing everyone with the steps and procedures needed to make technology all that much easier to understand and use. Boy, again, we could use your help in making it easier to provide those wonderful things that we do, that voodoo that we do so well, to you on a daily and weekly basis. So please, if you have the time, smash that subscribe button on the podcast. If you have the time and you have the inkling, go to our Patreon site, www.patreon.com/iTechGear. Subscribe to our newsletter. Provide us with a small donation. One time, monthly, doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and continue to provide you with that knowledge and insight that all four of us have every week. I want to say thank you to you, even if you don't donate, even if you don't subscribe. I still want to thank you for the opportunity to come to you every week, because we sure do have a great time doing the show. So from all of us here at the iTechGear Weekly and from iTechGear.org. We thank you. We love you, and we'll see you soon. And welcome back to the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 147, Goin Strapless. And I want to go ahead and I want to move us to our Windows segment, but it's interesting.
No, I don't want
I
one of
don't.
these either. Just like
No.
I'm
the
sorry.
strap. I don't want one of these next things either.
No,
This
no,
extra
no.
button.
I like
Right?
honestly, I could go with you're right. I could go without one of these too. And it wasn't enough to actually spin the wheel today because
Not that we can spin it, but
not that
yeah.
we can spin it right now, but dude, technical difficulties. Thank you, Tahoe.
Yeah.
But this particular thing, I mean, this is a falls into a really, really,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna do this to us again, really? Microsoft is adding yet another Copilot button that no one has asked for to Windows. And if you look at the we're citing a link from The Verge. Coming to a taskbar, a Windows taskbar near you, in some upcoming builds of Windows. Now it's on an insider preview channel right now, so you don't have to worry about this. It's not going to hit Windows anytime soon. Um, but if you hover over any active icon, you're going to get that wonderful little preview of the window of that application's last active window. If there's multiple, all right, you'll get and underneath that preview, you're going to get a nice big, huge share with Copilot button with a wonderful little Copilot logo. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
this.
Who
Because I'm not
does?
going to use Copilot. I'm not going to use Microsoft Copilot for nearly anything ever. All right. I will either use another AI, and I do right now. I use ChatGPT, but I'll either use another AI, or I will go without. I don't like Copilot. It's too much in your face. Number one, and number two, it's
Honestly, I don't think it's quite as good as either of the other
no,
two
it's
big names.
mediocre at best. It's mediocre
But
at best.
the fact that Microsoft is doing this in the manner they're doing it is really what upsets me more than anything. And this has only been in the last 6 or 8 years that they have started to shift toward this in your face thing. Honest to goodness, I truly remember dozens of meetings and when I was on campus and people out there talking about we really need to do what's right for our users. I don't think those conversations are happening today.
No, I
Mm.
think what they're
They really
talking
cared
about is
about
where
you
we
and
need to
I
do
back
what's
then.
really great for our checking account is what
That's
they're,
exactly right,
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
is exactly where they are right now. And pushing Copilot or pushing the services that they have is really what's good for them. It's
Yep.
and that's really what's going on here. It's not we really need to do what's best for our users. We really need to do what's best for us. And that's
But
what's
they are
going
the
on.
biggest train on the track, and it's hard to stop them. I mean, they're going to be in control of enterprise forever,
Well, that
most likely.
they do run the computers that run, 90 plus
Everything.
percent of the world.
Well, there's a lot of Linux machines out there.
I,
Websites.
you
There's not
know,
a big website out there that doesn't have a Linux box
oh,
behind it.
I agree. I agree. And
Right.
there
Yeah.
are a lot of server rooms that do have a Linux backend, and there's no denying that. All right. But even still, I mean,
But enterprise itself is still,
Mm-hmm.
everything on the desktop,
yeah.
everything that you see, excluding any Apple event that may happen between now and the end of time, is all going to be based on some level of Microsoft software, desktop software.
Affordability and availability is what caused that, though.
Yeah. So I
Why?
don't like Copilot.
Right.
I don't like having Copilot shoved in my face.
It's bad enough to have to look at that key.
It's a pretty key. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice rainbowy kind of,
But they ought to
very
let
pretty.
me remake it to do something else,
Yeah, right.
Let
Yeah.
me map it to Google or something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to map
Netflix,
it.
I
I want
don't
to
care.
map it to take out, to empty the trash in my recycle bin. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
Map it
right.
to.
Yeah.
Honest to
Uh-huh.
goodness. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
just it
golly.
just it just annoys it annoys the daylights out of me. And the fact that it's now the Office logo and it's now the Copilot logo and it's now they've got this thing absolutely positively where you can't get away from it.
Mm-mm.
You
Yep.
can't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I mean, and what all right. Also, Microsoft's got this thing that then they're now trying to turn Paint into something that it was never intended to be. They want it to be like the next Photoshop. They're giving it project files. And this is also something. Why the hell does Microsoft Paint need project files? Like
It
I'm
has
going to go ahead and I'm going to
survived.
build an image full of layers in Paint. Why would I do it in Paint when there's Photoshop and View
Well, I'll
and
tell you why. Because it's the last frontier. It's the only remaining app, I think, in Windows 1.0 from 1985 that remained pretty much untouched all these years,
and
except
it
to be
has
made it.
and it has
Of course, it's evolved,
well, yeah, yes, it's evolved, and it did
but
do
they want to
3D imaging.
revolutionize it,
It
and
did do
that's wrong.
3D imaging for a while, and it was something that you could use to push, to prints to your 3D printer. But that didn't last very long, and that kind of swirled, you know.
But it
And
was a
they
great app. I mean, if you went to the trouble to learn how to use Paint, you were highly respected because most people never could figure it out.
well, it's not the easiest thing to use, number one, and
No, it
number
wasn't
two,
intuitive. No.
it wasn't very intuitive. It still kind of isn't, but and it's not used a lot because it doesn't do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It fit a very, very
But like
specific.
Notepad,
If
it
it's
does what it does well.
right, but it fit a very specific set of use cases. I copied this thing from over here. I need to tweak it real quick, and then I need to stick it in this other Microsoft app. And it did that very well. All right. It allowed
Mm-hmm.
you to quickly crop, resize, recolor, tweak up, clean up, whatever it was that you were doing that you needed to take from either a screenshot that you took or from one app to another. And it allowed you to bridge that gap. And it did a very good job. It doesn't need to do much more. It doesn't have the back end to do that and to completely redesign this thing again and give it the back end and give it the guts and give it the power that to compete with things like Photoshop, I think is absolutely the most asinine thing in the world. Why would Microsoft want to get into the graphics business? It's a 50-year-old app. Why are you pumping it full of steroids
And
now?
I can't even think of a Copilot tie here. It just doesn't make sense.
No, no, it doesn't, and it just really annoys the daylights out of me. Why would they do something like this?
I don't know.
Right.
If Chris was here tonight, I bet he could come up with an answer for
Maybe,
that.
maybe, but I just don't see where you're going to create. I don't see where folks like Ryan Bliss from Digital Blasphemy are going to fire up Microsoft Paint, all right, and chase after building something, all right, and layering, creating different kinds of layers or clouds or using some kind of an algorithm in this application and then copy over these things to put it into Paint. It's not going to do that with
Mm-hmm.
If
Paint
you're going to build something in layers, the world uses Paint Shop Pro, period.
or some other
Or
kind
something
of
similar to that.
or something else, right? Or an Adobe app, right? It's
Or
not going to use
Pixelmator or
Microsoft
something.
Paint. The last thing you're going to grab is Paint. The last thing you're going to think of is Paint. It just seems to be exceptionally stupid, but that's just me. It may be a little bit harsh, but they'll get over it. They make more money than I do. So, Anyway, so that's our Windows segment. I'm going to move us to our tip of the week segment in the back half here of the show. And I'm going to, before I get to the actual tip, which is kind of cool this week, um, I want to remind everybody that, iTechGear was founded on the intent of making technology easy for everyone to use and understand. And
Right.
this team specifically has dedicated their careers to that specific purpose. So every week we've got a tip, and we'll feature that here on the show, and it's going to be authored by one of our experienced editors. You hear that, guys? You're experienced editors, and we want you to author
Ooh,
tips. If
Uh-huh.
you've got questions, concerns, comments, or yay, dare I say, ideas about any of these things, please do me a favor and ship those over right straight to us at tips@itechgear.org. If we use your idea on this show, we
Right.
will give you your 15 seconds worth of fame. And I want to get to the tip here. All of us use CarPlay, or most of us use CarPlay. I know, Joel, you're more of an Android Auto kind of guy. You've
Yes.
used CarPlay though.
my car does not
Yes.
back out of the garage without CarPlay turned on.
Amen.
Doesn't.
Amen. And I keep my car, garaged out in the driveway because we have four. So,
Oh,
Right.
so yeah. Anyway, but when you use CarPlay, sometimes you're listening to something, and you're in the vehicle with somebody else who is not necessarily interested in the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you've got going on. So did you guys know that you can go ahead, and even though CarPlay is activated, you can keep things on your headphones, whether there's their AirPods or other kinds of things. If you go into to settings, all right, you can keep thing audio into your headphones when you connect to CarPlay or your speakers. You just go to settings, general, AirPlay and continuity, and then tap
in
uh,
your iPhone.
in your iPhone.
Right,
Yes, in
right.
your
Okay.
iPhone. Settings,
Not
general, AirPlay
settings
and
in
continuity,
CarPlay.
and keep audio with headphones and toggle that on. All right. Then when you get into your vehicle um, with somebody else, you'll be able to go ahead and throw that audio right in and keep it in your headphones. All right. So that your wife doesn't complain at you about the football game that you're listening to, or that one book, or that one song. My wife and I don't like the same kind of music, so
In my case, it's the football game I'm missing right now.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I hear you. We're almost done, Larry. We'll get you out of
I
DQ.
know. That's what
So
DVRs are for.
yep, yep, yep. And but that's a tip. It's really kind of a nice thing, especially if you've got
That does sound nice.
especially if you've got something that that you want to keep on listening to, but the kids don't want to listen to because, oh, Dad, it's so boring. Yeah, I know. All right, I don't care. I love listening to Chef Ramsay cuss people out, and so I want to keep that on the on the phone while we're driving. It makes me chuckle. So,
Mm.
but yeah. But that's our tip of the week. You can keep the audio with your headphones as opposed to coming through the car speakers when you switch to CarPlay. All
Right.
right.
Cool.
So I want to move us to our pick of the week segment. And before we get to that, I want to remind everybody that, our show picks are usually hardware and software and other items of interest that we have individually purchased and we actually use. And we like enough that we want to recommend them to you, our growing listener base. And these aren't paid advertisements or anything that we have any kind of affiliated marketing relationship with. Because if we did, the editorial policy over at iTechGear.org would indicate that we have to notify you guys of that up front. These are just things that we sincerely believe in, and then we bring them to you at the end of each show. Here we go, guys. Why?
Because we
Because we
like
like you.
you.
There you go.
Hey,
All
that
right.
wasn't bad.
That's not too bad this week. All right, so,
Yes.
Joel, you've got the pick this week, and what do we got?
Okay. Well, with me being an avid hiker slash outdoors kind of person, especially when it comes to hiking and camping and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, one of the things I always like to have is, well, I kind of collect them, but one of the things I always like to have with me is a pocket knife.
Mm-hmm.
Today is a very well-known pocket knife that I've chose for my pick, which is the QSP Penguin V2. pocket knife. It has a I don't know exactly what kind of blade you call this. Um,
I was looking at
the
that a minute
shape of it,
ago, and
Yeah, the
right?
shape of it. No, I think
different,
it's more of a it almost looks like a
like a
straight
box
edge.
cutter
Yeah.
Is
almost.
yes, and works very well for opening packages. But
Maybe
here's
it's
the
a combination, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing here is it's made out of D2 steel, which is one of the hardest steels you can get a blade made out of.
Nice.
They're not necessarily the highest quality. D2 can come in various qualities, but I have found that QSP makes a fine knife and it keeps the edge very sharp out of the box. I particularly the one, and they make this version in many different color combinations. I have the
Yep.
JG10 version of it. I kind of wouldn't mind getting one of the new the Stonewash blades. They're very very nice looking as well. But the Stonewash ones and a lot of the other ones, like you'll see, they range. The one I have was 38.99, but you can pay up as much as 44.99, which is not too bad for a knife of this quality at
No.
all. And in it, I've had this one particular one. I've had it for let's see, since 2022. It's
Nice.
probably the higher quality knife, one of the higher quality knives that I have in my collection.
You know, when I looked at this, I'm gonna get one of these. I've got a
Yeah,
particular use case, and I bet a lot of people do. They don't realize it. Don't you all have that one little toolbox that's about the size of a small tackle box
Yeah.
that you put
mm-hmm,
all your go-tos in when
Yeah.
you go
yep,
some other place in the house to do something?
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Your favorite screwdriver, a little hammer, this, that, and the other. That box of mine needs a knife, and it doesn't
yep.
have it right now.
Yeah. See,
And
I
what's
usually
kind of
use
nice,
the Sword of Destiny.
right? The
Hello.
Sword of Destiny. Yeah, what's kind of also cool is that you can, if you have the appropriate screwdriver, you can actually switch the side the pocket clips on this.
Oh, nice.
You might even be able to buy different scales. So if you don't like any of the scales there, and if somebody else makes a scale that fits this, you can put your own scales on them.
Yep.
Um, I
Looks
I do.
nice.
It's a very nice knife. It's not. It's one of many I have, but it's not going to be as expensive. Something like this is not as expensive as, say, a Benchmade, which is I don't have one of those yet because they're about $400 for the one I want.
Oh,
Yeah, Nike, pocket knives can range from 20 bucks or less
yeah.
all the way up there to thousands of dollars. All right.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Is
the
Case still in business?
case is still in business, and see the one other kind of negative thing here is some of the traditional ones like Case and Schrade was another company that
Right.
was definitely US based, is no longer US based.
Oh, really?
So yeah, your US based in QSP isn't either, but most of your US based knives
They just all
are
sold
gonna
out, huh?
well, they're gonna be much more expensive because they're made here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get knives. Like I said, they're probably the most expensive one I saw was made by Shirogorov, which is a Russian company. But it's a very fine knife. Like I said, you can spend $1,000 on a knife, but do you want to use a knife that costs that much?
Mm-mm.
I don't.
No.
I don't.
No.
I want a high quality knife that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and this one fits the bill very nicely, and it works
So you don't
wonderfully
buy a
for.
knife just to
Well,
look
for
at it.
for a 3-inch blade made of D2 steel,
Yep,
right? I mean, it's
that's a good steal.
not a bad deal. And if you
Yep.
if you take good care of it and don't try to keep the moisture off of it, keep it
Mm-hmm.
clean, it'll last you. That $38, 40 to $45
It'll
will
outlast
last
you.
you a long time.
Yep.
So
Yeah, like I really like to get is a Benchmade bug out, 535, and that can range from 170 to $200. To actually 200. Wait a minute, that's the mini Adira, which is 230. But
hmm,
so they're expensive. Also a big fan of open L knives, which are even cheaper than this thing is. Open L's can be, I think I've seen them as low as 20 bucks, and
hmm.
they're very good knives out of the box. They come very sharp. If, I never loaned open my Opinels out because they have a real unique locking mechanism. And if you're not exactly sure how to operate it, then you could risk cutting yourself.
Ooh,
Not
Uh,
a good thing.
no, it's
but
not.
but this one is a nice liner lock. You know, it has a little thumb stud. You can flip it out. It has a nice action on it, and
Looks good.
I
It
love this
does.
knife. It's one of my favorite knives to carry. So,
All right. Well, awesome pick, Joel. Thank you very
yep.
much. And that, kids, is the show. This has been the iTech Gear Weekly, episode number 147, Going Strapless, recorded live Sunday, October 5th, 2025, live from iTech Gear Central for the missing Mr. Chris Gavula, Brother Joe McLaughlin, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. I want to say, hey, we will see you next time.